right, so I'm going to make a throttle cable for my CB450. It has Mikuni carbs, and I've been trying to get this thing tuned for a long time. I'm running into a lot of issues with it, and I've finally figured out that the shop that installed the carbs made the throttle cable too short, and the recommended cable length is about 75 millimeters, and what I've got on here is ended up being about 40 millimeters. And so I'm going to redo the throttle cable, which means soldering on new ends, make it the right length, and hope that that takes care of the issues that I've had with the bike. So here's the bike, and these are the Mikuni carbs. They're VM32s, I believe. The bike has been, I've been working on getting this bike up and running, trying different jetting. It was definitely set up too rich initially. I think I've got it down to where it should be, but I've been running into this problem where it just won't, in the mid-range, it just feels like it wants to run away. And I think I've figured out what the issue is, and it's the cable length. So that's what we're gonna try and address today. So the cable that was made for it is using one of these kind of universal, they're a 2-into-1 splitter. So you've got a little brass fitting that has a single pull on one side and a double pull for each throttle on the other side. And the issue was the length of the cable from the splitter to the carburetor was only allowing about 35 millimeters of exposed cable, and I looked online and saw that should be 75 to 80 millimeters. I'll link some descriptions in the bio to check out. So we're gonna fix that. And the way I did that is I bought a cable. Now I've tried some cables that I had for bicycle, and they weren't working. The cables that I was using, I've got this braided stainless line that I got from a motorcycle shop, and I can't get solder to stick to it, so that's a bummer. And then I tried some standard bicycle cables that I had as well, and these are the same diameter, but same issue, I could not get solder to stick to them. So what I've done, I'm hoping this will work, I don't know that it will, but found a galvanized brake cable, and I got the tandem length, which is super long, so this should be enough to do multiple throttle cables, but I only need one. So I'm hoping that this is going to be the ticket to allow me to make my cable. I also had to make some cable ends, and they're in this bag here. Fortunately, I have a friend with a lathe. Thanks now for helping me out here, but these are little, oh my god, come on, focus, there we go. Little brass fittings with a hole drilled through the center. Used my friend's lathe to make these out of some brass stock I had, and those will solder on the end of the cable, and then we get the this kind of a look at the end. So that's what we're going for. All right, let's get going. Okay, so cable lengths are trimmed to the final length after measuring on the bike. One of the things I wanted to address on this, I did get a lot of stick in my throttle cable, and these guys seem to be the culprit. There's a lot of friction in this little noodle on top of the carb. And so what I did is I found some little plastic sleeves to put in there to just kind of cut back on the friction. I tried them out and they actually work really, really well. So now I just need to assemble the cable, put it all together, and solder on my last ends. I'm going to measure the length out. What I found online is that they need to be about 75 millimeters to the shoulder of the end piece. So I'm going to measure out to 75, make a mark, get them soldered on, and then do my final cleanup, and I should be able to install these guys. Getting really close. All right, just got back from a test ride and the throttle cable is working great. I am super stoked. I haven't had this bike running this well in so long. I'm super excited to put some miles on it. So hopefully that was helpful, and thanks for checking it out.